So this is our final adult learner virtual event of the summer semester, or spring summer, I should say. I do have a full schedule for fall, so you'll be seeing that coming out pretty soon. This particular session is going to focus on finding answers on campus, even though that's primarily virtual for the fall. So really wanted to share with you some resources on campus that you might not know about. Or if you have questions and you're not really sure where to go, especially if it's been a while since you've been on campus, I just wanted to highlight some of the resources on here. So again, you're more than welcome to chime in with questions as we move through. And let's get started. So as many of you know, my name is Amber Neer, so it's Neer as in far, and I'm the advisor for the Warrior Way Back program, as well as just a general support advisor for any of our adult returning students or adult learners. I'm pretty much some folks will call me like a navigator for students. So I'm here to connect you with any resources on campus. If you're ever not sure where to go, that's what this presentation is supposed to introduce you to, but I'm always here as a resource if you're just not sure. I put my email up on the screen. That's the best way to get in touch with me right now. So if you want to shoot me an email with any questions, that's really the best way to go. If you want to have a phone conversation or something virtual, like a Zoom session or a team session, I also do all of my appointment booking through the You Can Book Me link on the screen too. So with me, I also have a graduated student, Jody Miller, who I think can share some of her expertise on what it's like being a student at Wayne State, returning after a time away. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Jody.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jody Miller, as Amber had said. I was a part of the Warrior Way Back program as well. When I first attended Wayne State, I was in my 20s, and I recently went back in my 40s. And I'm sure some of you may have some fears like I had going back as an adult learner. Do we fit in the classroom? And I can honestly say that it was like I never left. The support system there was great. Yes, I was probably older than my teachers, but at the end of the day, there was no ageism. Nobody had anything to say negative or positive. They were actually surprised. So I'm here to provide support as well on this virtual call. And if you have any questions or fears that you may want to share, I may be able to address them and help you guys get through this.
Thanks, Jody. I also wanted to add that I'm relatively new to Wayne State, so I've been here for about 2 years. So I love hearing your feedback and your experiences because that helps me learn about the university as well, so I can share that information with other students and other adult returning students. So, if you have any pearls of wisdom that you want to contribute as we move through, please do that. I would like to highlight that we're all still here. So for the most part, campus is closed, but the university is not closed. So all of our resources that you may have used when you were on campus, so things like student disability services, library services, your academic advisor, dean of students, anything like that, anything you were using when you were on campus, 99% sure that there's a virtual equivalent that we're working on that we can offer you this semester and moving forward. So if you're not really sure how to find that, let me know. We're going to go over some today. But if you have any concerns about getting some of the help that you've been used to or that you need, rest assured we're going to find a way to get you that help. The way I formatted this presentation, I'm going to go through kind of like some frequently asked questions and break it down by department and where those might be directed to. So let's get started here with the first one that I think is most popular is financial aid. So financial aid seems to be like I said, the most popular department that folks have questions about. I think that might just be the nature of working with some of you folks through the Warrior Way Back program with the debt forgiveness piece. We have a lot of questions about financial aid. So as an adult learner, it's been some time since you've used financial aid, most likely. So you might not know what your eligibility is, what you need to do. So when your questions are things like, was my SAP appeal approved? What is a SAP appeal? Where do I send my FAFSA? Did you all get my FAFSA? How do I know what my award is? What are some other questions you might have for financial aid?
I think you pretty much covered all of the ones that I have.
That's good.
I mean, they're on the list. You didn't
Right.
answer them yet, but they're
Right.
on the list.
So when students reach out to me regarding financial aid, more often than not, it's about the SAP appeal. There are a lot of different reasons why someone may need to submit a SAP appeal. Generally with our students, it's because you're returning, so you're not complete, you haven't necessarily completed your bachelor's degree in the standard 4 to 5 years, or even 6 years. So the federal government just wants to know what you're doing and what your plan is so you can receive funding. It's very common to have to do a SAP appeal. So if you're not sure if you need to do one, if you're not sure what the status is, you can always reach out to me, but I'm going to defer over to Financial Aid and Daisy Cordero, and her contact information is on the screen too. So Daisy is an excellent individual to work with. She does a session with us usually once a semester, so you'll be getting some information about her fall session with us, which is actually about SAP appeals. So she is really great at checking into your status with financial aid, going in depth through your options with financial aid. Yeah, she's my go-to. So if you reach out to me, which you're more than welcome to, just to check on things, more often than not, I'm just going to copy her in and ask her to reach out to you so she can give you the expert information. Let's see here. The second resource I wanted to highlight is your major advisor. So you'll see when you're at Wayne State that there are a lot of different advisors and a lot of different advising functions, and it can be confusing about who does what. So I am the advisor for, like the Warrior Way Back program and adult learner students. So I'm more of a general advisor. I connect you with resources. I can connect you with your major advisor, but I'm not generally recommending courses. And that's because we have dozens of undergraduate programs at Wayne State that all have their little intricacies and things that are important to know when choosing classes. There's no way I can be an expert on that. And the last thing I'd like to do is tell you to take a class you don't need, because we all know, it's not a good way to spend your time or money. So your major advisor is associated with your department. So if you're a psychology major, you have a psychology advisor. If you're a criminal justice major, you have a criminal justice advisor. And they're going to be the folks who help you choose courses. So questions like, what classes should I take? Do I really need to complete this program requirement? Did I already complete this program requirement? Can I withdraw from this class? What happens if I withdraw from this class? When's the deadline to withdraw? Can I get an override into this class because it's full? Questions like that generally go to your major advisor. Jody, can you tell us a little about your experience with your major advisor?
Absolutely. I leveraged my major advisor. I'm a political science major, but I saw him probably 3 times before I even started back through the Warrior program, because you do have many questions. You want to know, do I have to take this course? Can I skip it? Is there a test out? Can I test out of some courses? And when I tell you, I was able to test out of 2 courses because he was the one that advised, if you don't pass, that's fine, then you just take the class. But there's some classes or some courses that you can actually just take a quick test to see if you can pass out of it. And because we are adult learners, I think we're a little bit more disciplined, and now we're actually ready to pay attention. So some of these tests, they're not easy. However, I was afforded two that I was able to test out of, and it was because I met with my political science advisor, like I said, 3 times before I even got on campus. And then while I was a student, I would email him back and forth, or he would make time for a quick phone call. So this is one of the people I would absolutely tell you to leverage. Whatever the question is, if they don't know it, they can direct you on how to find it. So definitely this is a huge support system, and it's going to be your major advisor.
Another strong argument for meeting with your major advisor early is that as an adult student, you probably have some credits that are older, 5, 10, 15, I've even seen 30 years old. So credits generally don't expire, but program requirements often change. So if you try to advise yourself on which courses to take or your requirements, most likely you're going to be taking the wrong courses, because your advisor can tell you how those older credits fit in and meet the new requirements. And those are, like I said, those little intricacies that only your department or major advisor can tell you about. So if you really want to save time and money, definitely meet with your major advisor. If you're in the Warrior Way Back program, I facilitated a connection with you at the beginning when you completed your advising agreement. So most likely it was through an email connection, or I set you up an appointment with your department advisor. So that's going to be your go-to person. And you can also log on to your advising works and see them on your team over on the right hand of the screen on the bottom. So that's how you can find your major advisor. If you're not sure or there's nothing listed for whatever reason, shoot me an email and I'm happy to make that connection for you. And then we all love student accounts receivable, right? Billing, it's fun. Not so much. So questions like, how much money do I owe? And how do I make a payment? Right now, that how do I make a payment can be kind of confusing because campuses, I think most of us are used to making those payments in the Welcome Center. But now there are just different options because we don't have that same availability. Things like payment plans, that all goes through student accounts receivable, really anything about billing. And it's good to know that only SAR, the student accounts receivable, can check your account balance. So most folks like me, I can see that you have a balance. I can see when I went on, but I can't see how that's itemized. So if you have questions about where those charges are coming from, you know, what your options might be for paying them, depending on where the charge is coming from, sometimes there are different things we can do. That's all going to go directly to student accounts receivable. The best way to contact them is through their phone number or on the website. That information is on the screen too. Right now, I'm sure you understand they're very busy with courses starting next week. So it might take a while for them to get back to you. It doesn't mean they won't. If it's been a few days and you haven't heard anything, please shoot me an email and let me know and I can see what I can do for you. But student accounts receivable, you know, you're going to be contacting them a lot as you move through just to verify information. Any questions about what student accounts receivable can do for you or your experience with that department?
Amber, I'd also like to say too, if you use your Wayne State account, it'll show you what your balance is and what the holds are. And so that's another way if you're finding that if you're calling them and you know the wait is too long, log on through your Wayne State student account and go to the resources, and then you can actually see why they've placed a hold on your account. And that's one of the, sometimes there's a hold that's accidentally placed and it's not supposed to be there. And I've had to leverage Amber as well, just to shoot her an email to say, hey, can you look into this? I paid, so on and so forth. But yeah, I would say start with the website first. It's fast and convenient.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, one of the questions I have or the concerns I have is I noticed that I still have a balance from 2018, fall 2018, that have been added to the balance that I have now for this fall semester. So I wanted to know, like, is that something that's supposed to be showing up, or is it something that's going to be removed? It just hasn't been removed yet, or like, do I need to call someone in that department?
Okay, so for the Warrior Your Way Back program, really quickly how that works. So for the Warrior Your Way Back program, you need to have a balance of $1,500 or less to join that program. When you're approved for the program, there are a few steps you need to go through. You need to complete a financial agreement with me and an advising agreement with your department advisor. You also need to have a current financial aid application or FAFSA on file. So once we have those 3 items in, then we remove your financial hold from that previous balance. So that balance doesn't go away until you've completed the Warrior Your Way Back program. We just aren't charging you for that balance right now. We're removing that from collections. So you don't have to pay on it, but it's not gone until you complete all 3 semesters of the program successfully or graduate. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So I'm always gonna see it until I complete the program.
Right.
So when it comes so now I owe a balance for this semester. So I have to schedule a payment plan. So basically I'm just focusing on the balance for this semester.
Right.
Okay.
And if you have questions about how that's appearing, that would be a really good question for student accounts receivable.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So in the previous slide, it was about financial aid. I I saw it listed, but I didn't hear you go over like how to I guess apply for more, or to know if you're eligible for more Pell Grants.
Right. So if your Pell Grants are already predetermined. So that already comes through in your award. If you have questions about that award or you need to make any adjustments, especially right now with the pandemic, a lot of folks need to make adjustments to their FAFSA. Definitely reach out to financial aid. Sometimes there are additional like grants right now because of the pandemic. Sometimes there are different things we can do. If you're really close to graduation, sometimes we can work out a completion grant. And that's all through the financial aid office. So what that previous slide was saying, with those kinds of questions, reach out to Daisy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my, I had contacted you a couple of times, Amber, regarding additional assistance as far as financial aid, because unfortunately, my advisor, I was going into the special, God, I'm sorry, my mind is a little off right now. I was in education, special needs program, or, special education. And what my advisor did, because I was unable to take certain classes, they geared me over to taking language arts classes, which allowed me not to be able to, I ran out of money pretty much. So what I was trying to do is find additional financial aid. I did get a scholarship, but it wasn't that much. So what I'm looking for is an additional financial aid so I can continue, so I can get some help as far as completing my classes.
I did get both of your emails. I have them flagged. I've been working on it, but I don't have a solution yet for you. So
okay.
Hopefully, hopefully I'll have something maybe by the end of the day.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But I'm familiar with the email, so I know what's going on there.
Yeah, and due to the pandemic, I actually had lost my job. Okay, because I work, I lost 2 jobs, in fact, due to the pandemic. So it's kind of hard, and the only option I thought I would have to do is just drop out of the program, because I'm not going to get myself in financial debt.
Right, that's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah, well, I might not have a choice if there's not other resources out there.
We'll see what we can do. We'll connect with Daisy and see what she has to say.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course. Anything else?
What was the name of you said it's called completion?
A completion grant.
A completion grant. Okay.
That's usually for folks who have 1 or 2 semesters left.
Okay. And
qualifications that they're very specific, but I'm not privy to them, I guess. I think there's a lot of different factors that go into that related to your financial aid. And that's what it works on.
Okay.
Is that something that I need to fill out at this point, Amber?
There isn't like an application for completion grants. It's something that you just work with Daisy on independently.
Okay.
Keep this in mind as you're connecting with anyone, especially as we're at the start of the semester here. A normal response time is 3 to 5 days from the department. Hopefully you'll hear back sooner. I try to get back to everybody within a day or 2, unless, but if you have, a lot of questions, which are good, a lot of really good questions, sometimes it takes a little bit longer because I'm researching that for you. Definitely, if you haven't heard back, if you send an email, left a voicemail and haven't heard back in about a week, follow up from there. But it's normal to expect a response time of 3 to 5 days. So just keep that in mind. So then I want to move over to some more specific resources, I guess more when you are already registered for your classes and moving through the program. I can't overstate how important your class instructor is. Especially virtually, it's important to establish that relationship with them early on. When you're in class now, that's a little bit easier, but when we're online, it might take a little bit more effort. Although everyone's trying to make those relationships a little bit more accessible through online. So things like if you have an unexpected family emergency. So as adult learners, you are very familiar with this. Most likely, you've had some experiences where, your kid needs to come home sick from school, so you miss a class, and that's totally understandable. It happens. Unexpected death in the family that you need to handle, or your own personal illness, things like that. the first person to go to is your class instructor. Sometimes, you know, I'll hear about that first, which is fine. I definitely want to know about this, but these things are time sensitive, especially when it comes to course assignments and exams. So the sooner you can shoot your instructor an email just explaining even generally what's going on so they're aware of it, the better. That's going to work in your favor. So if you do have some kind of unexpected emergency, something needs to happen, your instructor is going to want to work with you, but they can only work with you so much if you wait 2 months to let them know what happened. So as soon as you can, reach out to your instructor to let them know. As we move into online classes, things like if your internet goes out and you miss a class, again, you're going to want to reach out to your class instructor as soon as possible to let them know what was happening there. Somebody want to chime in?
I emailed my instructor and I CC'd it to you to make sure before I go out on a limb and purchase the one textbook for one class, and there's no materials for the other class.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly what they're doing for that class.
Mm-hmm.
But both my classes are online. One is synchronous.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is just totally online.
Sure.
And that was the one that had the textbook.
Okay.
So it was a loose leaf textbook. So I'm not sure if I can order that online through Barnes & Noble or what.
You should be able to order it through our own bookstore,
Okay.
which is the Barnes & Noble. So when in doubt, contact the Wayne State bookstore, and they can see what the instructor's preferences are and help you find that book.
Thank you.
Of course. If you're unclear about a course assignment or the syllabus doesn't seem to reflect what's going on in the course, first point of contact should be your course instructor. Again, time is of the essence here.
I would like to say, oh, go ahead, Amber.
No, that's okay. No, I've found too, as far as, you know, the beginning of the school year, a lot of times instructors will help you to save money as far as books. Sometimes you can maybe get a book that might have been used for last year that may help. I found that to be helpful as well. I mean, I've always bought my books on Chegg or online, which was a lot cheaper, used books. I mean, if that helps, okay?
Yeah, I was just going to say, definitely introduce yourself to your instructor. You know, tell them a bit about yourself. That's what I did. I introduced myself. I told them my experiences. You know, I'm an adult learner. I have a child at home. You know, and like I said, I was feeling a little bit uneasy in the beginning because I knew I was going to be the oldest person in the class, and I may not, things have changed, right? So I'm from a textbook era. I love books, but a lot of things were online, right? So I didn't actually get a physical textbook because my instructor told me, you know what, just get the online portion, you'll be fine. It's cheaper. And I was able to use that, and I would go to class with a laptop. You could pull up your online textbook and follow along as well. I know things are different now with the pandemic and things that our classes are going to be online. My last class actually happened during the pandemic. So we went from in-classroom setting then to online classes halfway through the semester, which was a challenge. But the one thing I would always keep in touch with the instructor. You know, and if you miss an assignment or if you hand something in late, but you've already built that relationship and they see that you're working hard and, you know, this isn't just, oh, I didn't care to turn in my assignment. They're more forgiving, you know, they're more willing to help you. I was sick one day, I missed a class and she didn't mark me absent because sometimes you get participation points. So I would honestly say build a relationship, and it's just introducing yourself, keeping in touch. If there's something you don't understand, go to them, you know. They appreciate that more than us putting our heads in the sand and not saying anything.
Right. And I think especially with the pandemic right now, the instructors are also familiar with what it looks like working from home, doing classes from home, having kids running around, juggling a million different things. I know I've been in such, like I have 2 kids at home. I'm making dinner during a meeting sometimes. Like we're all familiar with that right now. So I think more than ever, your instructor has some insight in what it looks like to be an adult learner, and they want to work with you. But again, time is of the essence. And another pro tip I wanted to mention here is make sure you email them from your Wayne State email. Some instructors are more flexible and they'll respond to you on if you use your Gmail or something like that. But technically they're not supposed to because it's a security issue. So whenever you have questions, please email them from your Wayne State email. And some advisors, or sorry, some instructors will prefer you email them through Canvas too. So that's the course shell that the online classes run through. So some will prefer that method. So take note when classes start what your instructor's preferred method is. But I would steer clear from using your Yahoo or Gmail or something like that to contact your instructor. Does anyone else want to share any other experiences, hopefully positive, with your class instructors? Or maybe some concerns you have?
Good morning. My name is Tracy Thompson, and Miss Neer has been dealing with me for a little while now, and I call you a very good investigator. Thank you very much. And things are pending now because, you know, it's brought to fruition, and I appreciate that, and I look forward to whatever, you know, the outcome is. But I thank you for what you've done thus far.
Thank you, Tracy. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay, so let's move on to the next piece. This is a resource that I absolutely adore. This is the Academic Success Center. So if you had come to see me while we were on campus, so my office is out of the University Advising Center in the undergraduate library, so the first floor of the UGL. And in our office, we share that space with the Academic Success Center. So those are amazing services like tutoring, peer-assisted learning, which is another form of tutoring. They also have a lot of support groups, like they have a procrastination accountability group, stress management groups. There's also help with math literacy, or if you have stress or anxiety around taking math courses, they have an individual who specializes just in helping you with that. I definitely think this is an underutilized resource, so this is one I always recommend to students. So if you have questions about, you know, you're studying hours and hours for classes, but you're still not doing well on the exams, the Academic Success Center prides themselves on helping you study smarter so you don't have to study as long or for as many hours. There's definitely better ways to study than others. So something they can help you with. If you're feeling stressed handling all of your coursework, don't really know where to get started, you're overwhelmed, they have a lot of resources for that as well. If you need some extra help that you're just not getting in the classroom, so your during your class instruction time online, or if you have supplemental instruction, but you just need a little bit of extra assistance there, they have a lot of different resources they can connect you with too. And you can sign up for most of those through their website, and you can schedule consultation times there as well. I always recommend at least go on there and see what's available. Even if you don't plan to utilize it, at least you know it's there. And again, the Academic Success Center usually has a session with us every semester as well. So you'll probably see them coming up on our fall schedule soon too. Our last session was earlier this month. I'm not sure if, I think some of you were there. That was about managing academic stress too. And be posting that video online on our website soon. Some great tips there for how to tackle the fall semester online. Does anyone here have experience with anything at any of the resources at the Success Center? Tutoring or anything like that? Well, if you do, if you decide to take advantage of those, let me know how that experience goes so we can share that with some other folks too. Again, an excellent resource moving forward. I also like to highlight the Writing Center. I think as a returning student, or it may have been a while since you've written a college essay, and that's a very different form of writing than writing emails or memos in the workplace. So revisiting how to write a paper seems like a basic skill, but there's a lot of finesse to it. And it's good to have some of that extra support to revisit those skills. So the Writing Center, it's actually through the Writing Research and Technology Zone, has a lot of resources, again, all available virtually this semester to help you hone in on those skills. So things like, how do I get help citing sources? I mean, I'm sure we're all know writing research papers. There are different formats for citing resources, which one is correct, what information do you need to use. Sure, you can give it a Goog, but most likely the Writing Center can give you some more direct and accurate information. Direction on the best way to research for your class project, brainstorming and formatting your paper. Very important here is how to avoid plagiarism. Unfortunately, I hear more about plagiarism or problems with plagiarism than I'd like to hear. I mean, ideally, we wouldn't have any problems with it because plagiarism is often unintentional. So that cites back to, or goes back to citing your sources correctly. And you don't want to get accused of plagiarism. Like I said, most likely it's unintentional. So being familiar with that, how to avoid it. It's a good idea to run your papers by the Writing Center. And just some of that general, like proofreading your paper, getting some general feedback. No matter what the course is, they have the resources to help you improve your paper. Any experience with the Writing Center or questions about the services they provide?
So with the Writing Center, you can attach through your Wayne State account whatever it is that you have written and have them proofread it and, you know, do whatever corrections that, or give you suggestions, or they could meet with you just like we're meeting now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can upload your documents. I think they have a page limit for each submission. And then they can send you feedback, and you can also schedule virtual meetings with them as well. I wanted to leave plenty of time for general questions at the end, so I didn't want to go in depth on every resource we have here virtually, but I did want to list them so you're aware of them. So things like student disability services, if you need accommodations, anything like it could be physical, learning disability, anything like that, we can still accommodate those even though we're online. So we're trying to move everything towards being more accessible, but we're not quite there yet. So if you need some accommodations, definitely contact Student Disability Services for help there. The Dean of Students office is really important right now because they're helping provide resources related to the pandemic. So if you need help getting a laptop, if you need help with internet access, the Dean of Students office can help. Libraries are all available virtually as well. So finding research, books, scholarly articles, anything like that, libraries are still available. We're going to have a session with them in October too, so you can learn more about what kind of services they can provide to you. I know several of you are pursuing fields related to health or medical or something like that. So I also wanted to highlight the Pre-Med Health Science Center. That's also in the same suite in the undergraduate library. So if you need help determining kind of what requirements you need to go into some sort of professional school, the Pre-Med Health Science Center has advisors that can help you with that too. I also know that many of you have transfer credits or are thinking about transferring credits, reverse transfer, a lot of different ways to tackle that. We have a Transfer Student Success Center as well to help you, ease through that process. Answer your questions about how transfer credit works, the best way to utilize transfer credits. We have some amazing transfer programs at Wayne State. So Wayne Advantage Macomb. So if you're interested in going to Macomb Community College, we have some great agreements there to help, again, make that transition pretty seamless. You can search for all of these on the Wayne State website. If you'd like a link, shoot me an email and I can send those out to you too. Any other resources y'all have used or maybe experienced with some of these that you want to share with the larger group?
I would say you can also leverage your classmates. In most of the classes that I was in, we were in WhatsApp groups. And so we would just bounce questions off of each other, if it was pertaining to a certain subject or a certain task that we were asked to do. So don't be afraid, leverage your classmates, as well.
That's a really good point. Leverage your classmates in your community. It can feel isolating sometimes being in courses, number one, as an adult student, not being on campus all the time, but especially virtually, it can feel a little bit lonely sometimes. Being in groups like this right now, there's other adult learners like you who, are doing this too. So if you need some support there, or if you have questions, we're all here to help with that.
Is Wayne State 100% virtual this semester?
That's a great question. So we are not 100% virtual right now.
Okay.
So the numbers I've been hearing about are about 3/4 online and 1/4 in the classroom.
Okay.
Most of the classes that are on campus are things like lab science courses or some lectures, but they have social distancing guidelines in place. So most things are online.
I
And we'll see
saw
what that
on,
looks like for the winter.
I saw on the Wayne State page that the Student Center building is reopened. So a couple of my coworkers from DPS are meeting me down there to discuss our classes that we're taking.
Great. And that's another piece too I wanted to mention. Thanks for reminding me. So you can still go on campus. Not everything is open, but that's a good way to access some reliable Wi-Fi as well. So there are different hotspots around campus so you can access Wi-Fi if it's not so reliable where you are at home. Especially if it's still nice outside. So for the next month or so, you could probably find a nice spot outside to do some schoolwork, take advantage of the Wi-Fi, maybe get some time out of the house. I know we can all use that. So that's all I had in the presentation. Any other questions or concerns about coming back? You're probably getting some emails from your instructors. Maybe you're confused about what you're seeing. Questions about the Warrior Way Back program, what you need to do to qualify for that or stay active in that.
No questions, Amber, but I'm just excited about having these resources with the Academic Success Center and the Writing and Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing that we have those tools available, it's encouraging and exciting.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone as you go into this virtual environment. Jody, do you have any words of wisdom or advice?
I will say in closing for me, the 3 people you definitely want to keep in contact with are your instructors, Amber, and your academic advisor. And honestly, even if you think it's a question that, we used to say back in the days, there's no stupid questions. There really isn't. Well, there is, but there isn't. Email them, reach out to them, because honestly, that's how my goal was to finish school. I needed to graduate. I'm 41, and I leveraged them and I didn't care. I would email Amber, I would email my academic advisor, I would email my instructors, or I would have conversations with them. And honestly, I think that's what helped me finish as fast as I did, And just one thing to keep in mind too, if you do test out of certain subjects, they don't count as any credits, as far as you won't earn, like if you needed 140 credits to graduate and you test out of a course, that class or that testing out doesn't count towards a credit. So you have to take something else, or the best bet is to speak with your advisor though, to see if there are courses that you can test out of. Again, for me, it was time. I wanted to hurry up and graduate. I was, for the job that I'm doing, because I didn't have a degree, it held me back. So I was like, never again. And I got it, and so I implore all of you guys, don't be afraid, ask the questions, keep in contact, and you will all be successful. So good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Amber, I'll look forward to hearing from you for resources. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Moving forward, so I'm going to be posting the fall schedule of events pretty soon here, probably next week. So the first we're going to have is going to be early in September, the second Tuesday of September. I forget the day. That's going to be more of a welcome onboarding event, mostly for folks who are just coming back this semester, but anyone who's part of the program and just wants to connect, that's a good way to do that. It's more of a fun session. And like I said, we have about 2 every month through the fall semester, some different events going on, so keep tuned for those. The recording of this session and most of our previous sessions are on our Warrior Way Back website, so you can view those again if you want to review some of the resources we talked about here. you can definitely do that. If you think of any sessions that you feel like would be helpful moving forward, or some information that you'd like to share with other folks in our group, in the large adult learner community, please reach out to me and let me know. Another good place to do that is on our Facebook page, our Warrior Way Back Facebook page. There's some great resources on there too, and some great opportunities to share your experiences.
Thank you, Amber. And
Thank you.
September 8th is the second Tuesday in September.
Great. So yeah, September 8th, and I'll be sending out some information about that. You did a lot of emails from me.
I love
Thank
them.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. If you do have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You as well.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
You too. Bye.